Kai had never expected to be stationed on Therinia, a small mining planet at the edge of the Orion sector. Its red skies were streaked with constant storms, and the jagged mountains jutted like the teeth of some ancient predator. Humans had arrived only recently, sent to help the alien population extract rare crystals. But most of the locals were still suspicious. Kai didn't blame them. He felt uneasy too. On his first day in the alien settlement, he had struggled to adapt. The alien race here, called the Lyrians, were taller than humans, their limbs unusually flexible, and their skin shimmered in muted metallic tones depending on the light. Most of them didn't speak like humans. They communicated in melodic tones using small hand motions that Kai found hard to mimic. Kai had been assigned to help with the machinery, a massive crystal extraction rig that seemed to hum with its own life. It was tedious work, but he enjoyed fixing things, and the machines responded well to his human logic, unlike some of the Lyrians, whose reasoning often baffled him. On his third day, while he was tightening a loose joint in the extraction rig, a sudden shadow fell over him. He looked up and froze. She stood there, one of the younger Lyrians. Her skin glimmered with silver streaks, and her eyes were golden like molten metal. She was smiling, but it wasn't a cautious smile. It was playful, almost teasing. Her long fingers danced in the air as if conducting a silent tune. "Hello, human," she said, though her voice was musical, almost vibrating. Kai nodded, unsure of what to do. "Hi," he said, wiping grease from his hands. "I'm Kai." She tilted her head, examining him. Then, without warning, she stepped closer, her movements smooth and fluid. She circled him slowly, watching him fumble with the tools. "You are clumsy," she said, laughing lightly. Her laughter was like wind chimes caught in a gentle storm. Kai swallowed, a little embarrassed. "I fix machines better than I talk to aliens," he admitted. "That may be true," she said, grinning wider. Then she stepped back, waved her hands, and a small orb of light appeared in front of her. It hovered, spinning slowly. Kai blinked. "What is that?" he asked. "A game," she said simply. "A test." Kai frowned. "A test of what?" "Of skill. Of focus. Of humans," she replied, smiling like it was the most obvious thing in the world, before Kai could respond. The orb shot upward, darting like a hummingbird. He instinctively reached for it, but it zipped away. Every time he thought he had it, it moved faster, spinning in erratic patterns. The young Lyrian laughed, circling him again, making small gestures that seemed to make the orb move differently. Differently, Kai realized. He was being challenged, and not just physically. The orb's movement wasn't random. It reacted to her gestures and his own attempts to predict it. He had never seen a machine behave like this. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. Kai found himself studying her every move, learning the rhythm of her gestures. Slowly, he began to anticipate the orb's shifts, moving with more confidence. Each time he caught it, she clapped her hands, delighted, and the orb danced more erratically. "You are persistent," she said, her golden eyes twinkling. "Not like the others." Kai smiled faintly. "I don't give up easily." "You humans have strange stubbornness," she said, shaking her head. "I like that." The sun dipped behind Therenia's jagged horizon, the red skies turning deep purple. The game changed. The orb split into 3 smaller lights, and now Kai had to follow them all at once, his hands moving in coordination, mind tracking multiple movements simultaneously. He stumbled. The lights danced out of reach, but she didn't laugh this time. She observed him closely, and then, in a sudden burst, she gestured sharply. The 3 lights merged into one again, hovering calmly. "You are learning," she said. "Faster than I expected." Kai wiped sweat from his brow, feeling both exhausted and exhilarated. "Is this normal for Lyrians?" "For some," she replied, stepping closer. "Not many humans can keep up." There was a pause, a quiet moment where the red light of the setting sun reflected off her metallic skin. Kai felt something unusual, something that wasn't fear or suspicion. It was curiosity, mutual interest, maybe even respect. "You are strange," she said finally. Not like the others. I will show you more tomorrow, Kai blinked. Show me more? More of the game. Yes, she said, smiling. But there is more than just the game. You are clever, human. That is rare, Kai nodded, unsure if he felt proud or nervous. He had never received praise from an alien before, let alone one who seemed to enjoy teasing him relentlessly, as he packed up his tools and prepared to leave. She moved closer again, her golden eyes locked on him. Do not be late tomorrow, she said playfully. I grow impatient with humans who hesitate. Kai laughed, though nervously. I'll be here, as he walked back to his small quarters. He couldn't shake the feeling that this playful alien was going to change everything about his time on Thrinia. The game wasn't just about lights and movement. It was about connection, understanding, and perhaps even trust. That night, Kai lay awake, thinking about her fluid gestures, her teasing smile, and the orb that had danced like it had a life of its own. He realized he was excited not just to see the game, but to see her again. Little did he know, the game was only the beginning. Thrinia had secrets, challenges, and dangers that no human had faced before. And this playful Lyrian girl was his gateway into a world far beyond his understanding. The next morning, he woke with anticipation, ready to face her challenge once again. The orb awaited, and so did she. When Kai stepped into the open mining yard, the wind carried a strange metallic scent, and the girl was already there, arms raised, waiting. Her smile was wider than before, almost mischievous. Today, she said, her voice like music, you will see why I play this game. Kai nodded, his heart pounding. I'm ready. Her eyes glimmered, and for the first time, Kai felt that perhaps humans and Lyrians could learn from one another in ways no one had expected. The game was more than a test, it was a bridge. And as the orb shot upward once again, Kai knew that nothing would be the same after today. Kai had never moved so fast in his life. The orb darted through the air, leaving streaks of light behind like tiny comets, and he had to anticipate its every twist and turn. The Lyrian girl stood to his side, smiling as she guided the movements subtly with her gestures. Faster, she said, her voice light and teasing. You can do better, human. Kai gritted his teeth, pushing his arms higher, moving in ways he didn't know he could. Sweat dripped down his forehead, mixing with the red dust of Thrinia, and his muscles ached with exertion. Yet he couldn't stop. Every time he caught the orb, a spark of triumph surged inside him. He was learning, adapting not just to the orb, but to her. You are clever, she said, circling him again. Few humans have your patience. Kai paused for a brief moment, catching his breath. I've always been stubborn, he admitted, smiling faintly, even when things seem impossible. She laughed softly, the sound like wind through chimes. Good, you will need that stubbornness. This world is not kind to the weak or the slow. The orb split again, this time into 5 lights, each moving unpredictably. Kai's eyes widened. 5. He asked. 5, she said simply. Only those who can see patterns will survive the rest of the day. Kai focused, his mind sharpening like never before. He noticed that each orb moved in response to her gestures and his own reactions. It wasn't random, it had a pattern. Slowly, almost instinctively, he began predicting the movements. One by one, he caught the lights. When he finally held all 5 steady in his hands, the Lyrian girl clapped her hands joyfully. You see, she said, eyes glowing with excitement, you are learning faster than any human I have taught. Kai smiled, panting, but inside he felt proud. This playful game, which had seemed almost impossible at first, was now a challenge he could master. He realized that the game wasn't about the orb at all, it was about observation, learning, and trust. You are different, she said suddenly, her expression softening. Humans are usually clumsy, impulsive. You think before you act. Kai felt a warmth in his chest. I guess I've always had to survive on my own, he said quietly, and I've learned that thinking first helps. The girl nodded, her golden eyes shimmering in the light of Thrinia's strange red sun. You will need that skill, she said. There are dangers here that even the strongest Lyrians fear. Kai frowned. Dangers? Like what? She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she beckoned him to follow her. They walked through a narrow canyon, the walls towering above them and casting long shadows that seemed to twist in the wind. The orb floated beside them, spinning lazily as if aware that the lesson was changing from play to preparation. You see, she began, her voice low, Thrynia is not just a mining planet. It has life that humans cannot imagine. Creatures that can move silently, strike without warning, and think in ways you cannot predict. The game I teach you now is only the beginning. I listened intently, trying to imagine what could be worse than the harsh landscape they were already in. You humans think machines and logic are enough, she continued. But survival here requires instinct, awareness, and courage. Kai nodded, absorbing every word. He had already seen enough of the Lyrians to know that they were different, not just in appearance, but in perception, in the way they interacted with the world. This girl especially was a window into their ways of thinking as they walked. She explained that the orb was not just a toy, it was a training tool designed to test the mind, reflexes, and adaptability of any learner. It responds to intent, she said. If you hesitate, it slips away. If you predict wrongly, it avoids you. Only those who can synchronize their mind and body can succeed. Kai felt a thrill. This was exactly the kind of challenge he craved. He realized that the Lyrian girl wasn't just playful for fun, she was preparing him. Tomorrow, she said as they reached a plateau overlooking a valley, we will test something harder. You will face the true challenge of Thrynia. Kai looked down into the valley, his eyes widening. Below, strange shapes moved between the rock screechers that seemed almost translucent, yet clearly alive. He could see them shifting, scanning, hunting. They were unlike anything he had ever seen. These are the guardians of the mines, she explained. They do not attack for sport. They attack for survival, and they do not forgive mistakes. Kai swallowed hard, feeling a mixture of fear and excitement. I think I understand why the game matters now, she nodded. Yes, if you cannot keep your mind sharp, if you cannot predict patterns, you will not survive even the simplest encounter. But you are learning. The girl sat down on a smooth rock, her legs crossed in a way that seemed effortless. She looked at Kai and smiled again. You will continue tomorrow, and I will push you further. But for now, rest. Even the strongest need to recover. Kai sat beside her, feeling a strange sense of camaraderie. He had been on Thrynia for only a few days. Already he felt a bond forming with this alien being, despite the differences between them. She was challenging him, teasing him, and teaching him all at once. He couldn't help but respect her as the sun set fully. Painting the sky with deep purples and blacks, the Lyrian girl stood. Tomorrow, you will see why I play with humans. It is not cruelty. It is preparation. Kai nodded. I'll be ready. The girl tilted her head, studying him with those golden eyes. Yes, she said softly. I think you will be. Kai returned to his quarters that night, lying on his simple bed with his thoughts racing. He thought of the orb, of the way it moved, of the way she had guided him without giving direct instructions. He realized that he was learning not just to catch lights, but to understand patterns, to anticipate actions, and to trust his instincts. The next day, as promised, the challenge intensified. The Lyrian girl introduced new tools, new orbs, and new games, each designed to test a different skill, reflexes, prediction, problem-solving, and even teamwork. Kai felt himself growing sharper, more aware of the environment around him, more capable of understanding both the Lyrians and their world. By the end of the week, he was no longer just a human visitor trying to survive. He was a participant, a learner, someone who could navigate the strange rhythms of Thrynia with skill. One evening, as the red sun dipped behind the mountains once again, the girl approached him. You have done well, she said, her golden eyes shining. You are ready for what comes next. You are different from the others. I think you might even surpass them. Kai felt a surge of pride, but also humility. He had learned that this world was vast, dangerous, and beautiful in ways humans rarely understood. And he had learned that guidance could come in unexpected forms: a playful alien girl, an unpredictable orb, and the strange testing games that prepared him for survival. He looked at her and smiled. "I'll keep learning," she smiled back, her expression softening. "Good. Because Thrania is not done testing you yet, but you. You are ready for the first real trial." Kai's heart raced. He knew that the weeks ahead would be filled with challenges, danger, and lessons unlike any he had known. But he was ready. He was human, and humans had a way of surviving. When others failed, and as the night sky of Thrania shimmered with distant stars, the orb floated beside them, glowing softly. The game had begun. But this time, Kai was not just a player. He was a learner, a survivor, and perhaps in time, something more. The bond between human and Lyrian had begun, and together they would face the trials of Thrania, testing not just skill, but trust, courage, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. Kai didn't know what tomorrow would bring. But for the first time, he felt confident that no matter the challenge, he could rise to meet it. And the playful smile of the Lyrian girl reminded him that sometimes the hardest lessons were the most enjoyable and the most transformative.